A feather blows around in a train station. It enters the train and lands at a man's feet. He picks up the feather, admiring it. He takes out a small book with a woman's photo and puts the feather in the book. A woman comes to sit opposite him. The woman can sense he wants to talk, but she is mostly on her phone. The man is carrying around a box of Golgappas. He offers her some, but she declines. He tells her that his mother always said that life is like Golgappas. Even though your stomach may be full, your heart always desires more. He introduces himself as Laal Singh Chaddha. He admires the woman's shoes. He says that his mom used to say that shoes are like one's ID. You should not judge someone by their face, but by their shoes. The woman looks down at his shoes, which he says are old, but he loves them. He can still remember his first pair of shoes. The woman seems annoyed. His mother called them magic shoes. They were his leg braces. The doctor said that he can walk fine without them, because the problem was in his mind. His name wasn't always Laal. He was named after his grandfather and other ancestors, who had never returned from the war. Since a young age, his mother taught him how important it was to be independent. She managed the family farm by herself, where she and Laal lived. She reminded Laal that he is just like the other children. She went to talk to the school's principal to enroll Laal, but he refused. He said that Laal isn't smart and he should go to a special school. He wants to be left alone, as he already has enough to deal with after his maid and cook had left. Laal's mother has an idea. She'll clean the house and cook for him as long as Laal is in his school. He can see that she wants the best for her son. He accepts Laal into his school and tells him to study hard. On Laal's first day of school, his mother tells him to do better than his best. He doesn't want her to leave, so she agrees to wait on a bench until school is over. He enters the classroom, but no one wants him to sit with them. One girl, Rupa, is kind enough to allow him to sit with her and he is instantly mesmerized by her beauty. They became best friends. Laal's mother is surprised and happy to see he had a friend. Rupa and Laal spent lots of time together and climbed trees. Laal always wondered why Rupa didn't enjoy going back to her home. In the present, Laal talks about how he and his mother frequently visited his aunt in Amritsar. The woman and the rest of the people are now all listening to his story. One day when they visited Amritsar, there were many soldiers, but they didn't know why. Everyone lived in fear as there were many explosions. This was during the time of Operation Blue Star, when then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ordered a militant leader to be removed from the Golden Temple, which caused a lot of damage and really occurred in history. Laal and his family stayed in the house for many days. He saw that his mother was very sad. His mother lied and said they cannot go outside because there is a malaria epidemic. Soon after, his aunt moved to Delhi. The first time he went to Delhi was to visit his aunt. There he enjoyed spending time with his cousin and his friends, who enjoyed dancing to movie songs. They all laughed at how Laal was dancing. But one boy loved his dance moves. He learned Laal's moves and went on to become a very famous actor. When Laal lists the films of him he's watched, the people in the train are in disbelief that it is Shah Rukh Khan he is talking about. One day in Delhi, Laal heard the explosions again. Indira Gandhi was murdered by her 2 Sikh bodyguards, in revenge for Operation Blue Star. Mobs were attacking Sikhs. Laal's mother hid and cut his hair with a piece of glass, so that no one would know that he is a Sikh. One man in the train remembers that it was a terrible time and it's a miracle that they are here today. Laal thinks back to one time when bullies threw rocks at him. Rupa told him to run, and the bullies went after him with their bikes. His leg braces came off and he ran faster than he ever did before. From that day, he ran everywhere. Laal went to Rupa's house one day, because she wasn't at school. She was sitting outside her house, while her parents were fighting inside. Rupa's father was abusing her mother over money. Rupa prayed to God to make her rich, so that there won't be these fights about money anymore. Then there was a loud thud. The police came to arrest Rupa's father for killing his wife. Rupa was sent away to live with her grandmother, who was Laal's mother's house help. Although Laal was happy that Rupa was staying with them, she remained sad. She got scared at night, so she slept next to Laal. When Laal and Rupa got older, they were sent to college, where they remained best friends. Unfortunately, the same bullies from earlier were also studying at that college. Rupa once again tells Laal to run. He runs into the sports grounds, where he accidentally participates in a race. Laal outruns the rest of the students. The coach is amazed and wants to know who he is. One of the other students says he is Laal Singh Chaddha and he is not very bright. The coach doesn't care, as he is very fast. Now Laal was on the running team and participating in a race. He would only run when Rupa told him to. He enjoyed running a lot and would usually win. One day, Rupa was talking to a boy she liked. He was forcing himself on her, so Laal chased him away. The real reason why Rupa wanted to be with that boy was because he was rich. Laal asks Rupa to marry him, but she wants to go to Mumbai and become a famous model and actress. Every time there was a terror attack somewhere in India, Laal's mother would phone him, saying there's a malaria outbreak, so he should stay inside. This would make Laal miss his practice and races. Finally, Laal graduated. After college, it was natural for Laal to join the army, as the previous generations were also in the army. Laal enters the bus, but no one wants him to sit with them. Then one man tells him to sit with him. He talks to Laal about underwear, as it's his family's business. He introduces himself as Bala. After serving in the army, he will start his own undergarment business. One night, when washing their clothes, Bala notices that Laal's vest and underwear are wrongly cut. Bala taught Laal how to make undergarments. He made one for Bala and then the lieutenant, which turned out perfectly. Then he made ones for the rest of the army. Laal missed Rupa terribly. Bala handed him the newspaper, with Rupa's photo on it. She was arrested because of her modeling photos. He went to Mumbai, where some people were making mean comments about Rupa. So he started hitting them. Rupa tells Laal that he can't save her from everything. Once again, Laal asks Rupa to marry him. But Rupa says they're very different. She wants to become rich and famous. She likes him, but they are only meant to be friends. Laal will be posted in a few days, and Rupa tells him to be careful and just run if there's any trouble. One night at a party, Rupa is taken to meet a film producer. After 4 years, Laal and Bala had finished their training. Bala got married soon after. Laal had not seen Rupa in 4 years. Bala wants Laal to be his business partner in starting his undergarment business after they complete their service in the army. He explains his foolproof business plan to Laal. Some days later, they were posted in Kargil, as enemies had entered their territory. Local shepherds showed them where enemies had set up a bunker. But soon those in the bunker spotted the soldiers and started firing on them. Bala told Laal to run. He did, but then realized that he was alone. He went back to find Bala, but picked up an injured soldier. Each time he went to find Bala, he would pick up another wounded soldier. He even saved one of the enemies. When he found Bala, he was in a very bad state. He carried him to safety, but, unfortunately, he didn't survive. Back in the present, the other people are very sad at hearing this. The war ended a few days later and everyone celebrated, but all Laal could think about was Bala. Laal was shot in the behind, so he ended up in the hospital, next to the enemy he saved. His name was Muhammad Paji, who had lost his legs. All the letters Laal had said to Rupa were returned. Meanwhile, Rupa was in a relationship with the film producer, who abused her emotionally and physically. Back in the hospital, Laal is mesmerized at seeing another patient tying his turban. The hospital staff are looking for Muhammad, as he went missing. Laal hears that he has been awarded for saving 5 lives. Because of Laal's injury, he cannot fight in a war again. He will be the assistant coach for the army's running team. Laal has been given the award and his mother is very proud. His mother wants him to come home. Sitting in traffic, he sees Rupa in another car and runs after her. Rupa enters a hotel with her boyfriend. Laal enters the hotel and sees Rupa with a man in the restaurant. But he slaps her, which angers Laal. He beats up Rupa's boyfriend. Rupa apologizes to her boyfriend and they leave. Later that night, Laal is visiting his aunt when Rupa phones. Her boyfriend is out and she asks Laal to meet her at the India Gate. They walked and talked all night. Rupa talked about her work in films and lied that she was happy with her life. The morning comes and Rupa needs to go, as she is leaving for Dubai. Laal doesn't think she should go. He wants her to come home. She asks him why he is always so good to her. He says it's because she is his Rupa. She replies that she'll always be his Rupa. Once again, Rupa left. Laal went on with his life and toured the world with his running team. One day, Muhammad Paji approached him angrily. Laal is happy to see him. Muhammad is jealous of Laal having been awarded and traveling with the government's money. Muhammad's reason for seeking his savior, Laal, was so that he could curse him to his face. Muhammad invited Laal to his home, because he thought it would be inappropriate to curse at him in public. He now lives in Mumbai in a small room. He tried to go back home, but was refused as he had failed his mission in the war. He asks Laal if he knew who he was when he saved him. He thinks Laal was a fool to have saved his legless body. He asks Laal to buy him a drink. At the bar, Laal talks about the plans he and Bala had before he passed. Laal was to do the manufacturing of the business, while Bala would do the marketing. Now that he isn't here anymore, he will do both. Muhammad thinks it's a joke. He is sarcastic, saying that the day Laal becomes a manufacturer, he will work for him in marketing. That night it is New Year's Eve and Laal wondered how Rupa was celebrating it. She was standing on the edge of a tall building when she heard Laal's voice, telling her to come home. She realized what she was doing and climbed down. Laal was discharged from the army and went back home. After a while, he visited Bala's family. There was a memorial of him. He talked to the memorial Bala and said he hasn't forgotten his promise. He has the investment to start the business. His plan was to use Rupa's old room for the business. He wrote to Rupa and Muhammad Paji about starting his business. He bought fabric, 3 sewing machines and hired 2 tailors. They were sewing 100 undergarment sets a month. Unfortunately, their sets weren't selling. One day, Muhammad Paji showed up after getting Laal's letter, saying he is a man of his word. The only sets they've sold so far was to Laal's mother, who bought them for him. Laal and Muhammad went to a local store to sell their sets. Later it became a buy one get three free offer, but nothing sold. They stopped production and watched Bollywood films. Then Muhammad Paji got an idea from the film. He realized that because men like women, the company should have a woman's name. He tells Laal to write a woman's name on the undergarment. He knew only one woman's name, Rupa. Laal tells the people in the train that a miracle happened, because their Rupa undergarments started selling. Laal hired more tailors and they moved to a bigger place. The people in the train do not believe he is the owner of the very famous Rupa Corporation, but he didn't care. He showed them a magazine, where he and Muhammad were featured on the cover for winning Entrepreneur of the Year. Now everyone believed him. He gave a large sum of the profits to Bala's wife each year. One day, Muhammad Paji says he never thanked Laal for saving him. It's time to go home, and Muhammad is still in his office. Laal wants to know why he isn't going home. Muhammad tells Laal that maybe it's time for him to go home to his country. He was told that this country was the enemy, full of non-believers, but then he found a friend like Laal. From a young age, he was taught to hate, without reason. He wants to go back to start a school and educate children about friends like Laal in this country. Laal promises to write letters to Muhammad. Now Laal was not only missing Bala and Rupa, but Muhammad Paji as well. One day, Laal received a phone call that his mother was very ill. He rushed home. Laal wanted to know what's wrong. His mother says it's just time for her to go, as everyone will leave someday. As a mother, she tried her best and was lucky to have Laal as a son. She told Laal that life is like golgappas. Even though your stomach is full, your heart always craves more. After her death, he opened a hospital in his mother's name, where everyone would be treated for free. Their family doctor was running it. Laal stayed and took care of the farm. He hadn't seen Rupa in many years and was missing her a lot. One day, Rupa came walking up the road, but he thought it was just an illusion. Then he realized it was the actual Rupa. First all she did was sleep. Then Laal told her everything she had missed. She didn't have to worry about money anymore, as he could give her everything she needed. She was mostly quiet. As time went on, Rupa cheered up and they did farm work together. It felt like they were a family. On Diwali, Rupa gifted Laal new shoes, which are very old now. One night, Laal once again asked Rupa to marry him. He thinks she can't marry him because he isn't smart. She says she can't marry him because she's not reliable. Later, Rupa confesses her love for Laal and kisses him. Later that night, Rupa wakes up when police come to the house. She tells them to take her and not wake Laal. Laal wakes up and realizes that Rupa had left once again. He is sad and doesn't know what to do. One day, he just got up and ran. Each time he thought he'd stop running at a certain destination, but never felt like stopping. He reached the ocean and turned around. When he reached the mountains, he turned around. Meanwhile, there are news reports that Rupa's boyfriend, Abbas, has been sentenced to life in prison for 5 murders. They say Rupa also had some role in it, so she is sentenced to 6 months in jail. Laal makes the news as a strange man who's been running everywhere. People saw him running on TV, so they joined him. Laal ran for 4 years and 7 months, then stopped. He said he is tired and wants to go back home. At home, Laal realized that he looked like his grandfather's, which made him happy. He tied his turban, for the first time in many years. Then his farm help told him that Rupa had sent him many letters. She had asked him to come to Chandigarh. Just as Laal had explained it to the people on the train, one boy informs him that they have arrived at Chandigarh. He rushes off the train and everyone wishes him good luck. Rupa is surprised to see Laal and loves how he looks with his turban and beard. He gifts her the golgappas. She feels bad for how she treated Laal. Then a little boy calls for Rupa, who is his mother. The boy and Laal meet. The boy, Aamir, asks Rupa if he can watch cartoons. Laal is shocked to learn that he is the boy's father. Laal wants to know if Aamir is like him, or smart. Rupa informs him that he's very smart, the brightest in his class. Laal goes to sit with Aamir. Later, Rupa informs Laal that she's sick, but the doctors don't know what her illness is. This time, Rupa asks Laal to marry her and he agrees. Rupa and Laal get married on the farm. Later, they Skype with Muhammad Paji, who is successfully running his school. Laal, Rupa and Aamir spend lots of time together, while Rupa is getting sicker. She is taken for scans at his hospital, but it appears there's nothing more to be done for her. Rupa is in bed and asks Laal if he was scared during the Kargil War. He was, but the glow of the Himalayas at night made his fears disappear. Everywhere he was running, the nature around him made him forget who he was. Rupa wishes she was with him at that time, and he replies that she was. She says she loves him, and they hug. It's a year after Rupa's death and Laal talks to her grave. He tells her how wonderful Aamir is and that he'll be going to their old school the next day. He misses her a lot and cries. The next day, it's Aamir's first day of school and Laal tells him to work hard and try to do better than his best. He asks Aamir if he needs him to wait there, but Aamir says he'll be fine. Laal sits on the bench and opens his little book, when the feather from the beginning of the movie falls out. He is emotional looking at a photo of him, Aamir and Rupa. The feather blows around in the wind, demonstrating that we are not always in control. This raises the question of whether we all have a predestined fate, or if we create our own fate.